Hi, I'm Dr. Aruna Bhargava. I conduct phone satsangs once a week via free conference call. So far, I have level 1 and level 2 satsangs. Level 1 is for 7 to 10-year-olds and level 2 is for 10 to 14-year-olds. I started this 3 years back for my own grandkids, but through word of mouth, it kept growing. And as of now, over 50 kids from all over the country call in each week. I have a psychology and sociology background and have been a spiritual seeker all my life. These satsangs, therefore, are more spiritual than religious. They also provide life skills coaching for kids. We see God, whom we call Bhagwanji, as the all-powerful and all-intelligent source, whom we experience as light and love. God, or Bhagwanji, is above us, all around us, and also lives in our heart as our very best friend. Kids learn to develop a close personal relationship with Bhagwanji, who guides them when they need help. For each satsang, I pick a topic that kids have to deal with in their day-to-day lives, in school or outside. I also teach them some basic mantras, chants, some spiritual teachings, and a brief meditation. At each satsang, I tell the kids a story to illustrate the teaching of the day. The satsang kids call me Nani. For more information, you can visit my website, drarunabhargava.com. That's drarunabhargava.com. If interested in joining the weekly phone satsangs, you can email me at drbkidauthor@gmail.com. drbkidauthor@gmail.com. This is session 1, and the topic is, who is God? This is a very important topic because it is the foundation on which all my other satsangs are built. So who is God? Let's begin our prayer to Bhagwanji to take us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge. This prayer is in Sanskrit, so please repeat after me. Asato ma sadgamaya, asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. So today's topic, who is God? So kids, let me tell you a story. Whenever people had a problem or were in trouble, they prayed to God and asked Him to help them solve the problem, to overcome the trouble. If they were sick, they asked God to make them well. If their pet got lost, they asked God to help find the pet. If they had an exam coming up, they asked God to help them pass with good grades. If they were overweight, they even asked God to help them lose weight. Sometimes they even asked God to make their favorite baseball team win. Most of the time, people constantly asked God questions about their life situations and waited for Him to answer and guide them. God wanted to help everybody and be their very best friend. But there was one big problem. Since there were billions of people in the world who were constantly asking God for one thing or the other, how was God to reach everyone whenever they needed His help and guidance? So God gave this problem a serious thought. He thought, there must be some way I can be with each and every person whenever they need me, so they never feel that they are alone or struggling with their problems. After all, they're all my children and deserve my help and guidance. In a beautiful forest on earth, sat a wise sage deep in meditation under a shady tree. He wore saffron robes and had a long white beard and mustache. His white hair was long and was tied in a knot on top of his head. His face looked radiant and peaceful. God decided that this sage would be the best person to ask for suggestions as to how best to resolve this problem of being there for everyone at all times. So God appeared to the sage in the form of a brilliant light and sent this thought question to the sage. People are constantly asking me for my help and guidance, and since they are my children and I love them, I want to be there for them at all times whenever they need me. But there are billions of people in the world. How can I be with everyone at all times? Oh, wise and good sage, do you have any suggestions? Asked God. The sage opened his eyes and saw this brilliant, loving light all around him. He bowed deeply to God and said, "Thank you for appearing before me, my Lord. I can think of only one way. You can be there for all your children all the time, whenever they need you." "Then speak your mind freely, my child. What is your answer?" asked God. "My Lord," said the sage, "if a small part of your limitless light and love went and lived in the heart of every single human being on the planet, then you will be able to be very close to everyone and be able to be available for them whenever they need your help and guidance. You will then be their very best friend living in their heart, and who is with them day and night. That way, they will never feel alone and helpless in times of trouble." God smiled and sent even more light and love to this sage. "That is a very good idea," said God. "Now on, whenever my people remember me, they will always find me standing right there, very close to them, right in their hearts. Now on, they will never, ever be alone." Then God went and lived in every single person's heart, so he could be very close to them and help them whenever they needed him and be their very best friend. So, God is everywhere. He is inside us and outside us. He shines his brilliant, beautiful light and love on us from above. He also lives in our hearts in the form of a beautiful, brilliant light and love. We cannot see this light with our physical eyes, but when we close our eyes and become very quiet and still, sometimes we can see it. If you don't understand this just yet, don't worry about it. You will as we go along, as you learn to talk to God who lives in your heart. Like the sun, God shines his light equally on everyone. It does not matter to God whether you're rich or poor, white or black or brown, tall or short. He shines his light equally on all of us. Just as the sensation of the sun is warmth, the sensation of God is love. By sensation, we mean that just as without seeing the sun, we can feel its warmth and know it is there, even without seeing God, we can feel his love and his presence. God's love opens our hearts and fills them with love. You might think that because God is shining his light on us from above, he is far away. But that's not so. As I said before, a small part of God's light dwells in our own heart too. So God is very close to us. closer than anyone else in the world. He's closer than even our parents or brothers or sisters or our very best friends. But God speaks softly, and so it is hard to hear him sometimes, especially at first, when we're too busy running around and our minds are running a mile a minute. For that reason, it's very important to spend a few minutes each day talking to God and listening to God. If we talk to God every day, and then we come to know him well, and we can understand his language. Because sometimes God will speak to us inside our heart very clearly and loudly, and sometimes the answer to a question comes as a strong feeling inside. Sometimes God does not answer a question right away. He takes his own sweet time. And suddenly, when we're doing something else, there it comes, the answer to the question we had asked earlier. Talk in your mind to God, because he lives in your heart. He can hear your silent words. After all, he is your very best friend. But when you talk to God, how would you address him? What would you call him? Dear God? Or dear Lord? That sounds a little formal and distant, doesn't it? Especially when you're talking to someone so close to you. That is why, when you talk to God, you can call him Bhagwanji. You can talk to your Bhagwanji about anything and everything, and he will always answer you. Remember, you're never alone because Bhagwanji is always with you. Your Bhagwanji is full of light, love, infinite strength, and infinite peace. Your Bhagwanji loves you very much. If you had a friend, you never called him on the phone and didn't talk with him for many, many days, then one day suddenly you're in trouble and you need his help. Would you immediately remember his phone number so you can call him? Of course not. If you never called him before, you would not remember his phone number. You would have to look it up in the phone book or Google it or ask a friend or something like that. And that would take some time. And if you needed this friend's help right away, as in an emergency, it would delay matters since you would have to spend time trying to get his number first. Same thing with God. If you don't talk to him all the time, in an emergency, suddenly you want to talk to him, you wouldn't know how. So talk to God every night before going to bed. Since we have some Jain kids in our satsangs, I have included a Jain mantra. It is called the Namokar mantra. It is a very powerful mantra and it removes all obstacles in our lives. So please repeat after me. Namo Arihantanam, Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Vajjayanam, Namo Vajjayanam, Namo Loe Savva Sahunam, Namo Loe Savva Sahunam. Now, kids, we will do a brief relaxation and meditation. Since most of you kids have very busy lives, I know because I have 2 little boys, grandkids, and the schedule is so busy. Soccer and baseball, and if you're a girl, there are ballet classes and all kinds of different play dates and all sorts of activities. And you're very busy. You don't have time to relax. And then there is schoolwork and homework to do. These few minutes of relaxation and meditation is the best investment of your time. Now, these few minutes, you will find that your every cell in your mind and your body relaxes. And it makes you rested and rejuvenated at the same time. You know, many times when you sleep, your mind is active. And you wake up in the morning and you're not feeling rested. You still feel tired because your brain was working all the time, all night. These few minutes of relaxation give you health and peace and joy. So learn to enjoy this and participate in it fully. So now, kids, take a deep breath. And if you're wearing glasses, you can take your glasses off. You can lean against the bed or a pillow or a wall or whatever you want to lean against. If you want to stretch your legs out, feel free to do that and take a deep breath. Let's meditate for 5 minutes after a brief relaxation. Take a deep breath. Now visualize this brilliant light above your head. This is the light of God that is full of love and peace and joy. As you breathe in, this energy of God enters you from the top of your head and completely fills your forehead and your eyes and your ears and your cheeks and your lips and your chin. It fills your entire face. As you breathe out all your fear and anger and worries and problems from the soles of your feet deep into the ground. Continue to breathe deeply. Once again, as you breathe in, you fill your neck and your torso and your entire back with this wonderful, loving, and powerful energy. As you breathe out all your problems and worries and fear and anger from the soles of your feet deep into the ground. Once again, you breathe in God energy from the top of your head and let it go down both your arms and legs, filling them with excellent health and strength. As you breathe out all your fears and anger and worries and problems down from the soles of your feet deep into the ground. Continue to breathe deeply. Now focus your attention on the bridge of your nose. That's the part of your nose between your nostrils. Then breathe in and out, slowly and deeply. Breathe in and out, slowly and deeply. Allow your thoughts to go by like clouds in the sky. Don't pay attention to them. Don't argue with them. It doesn't matter if they're good thoughts or bad thoughts. Just let them go. Just let them float away. Let them float away like clouds in the sky. You just focus on the bridge of your nose and breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Now your mind will feel very, very peaceful and your body will feel very, very relaxed. So now, kids, when you go to bed, don't run, walk slowly, don't speak unless you have to. Keep this peaceful, calm state of mind when you go to bed. And remember to talk to Bhagwanji before going to bed. You don't have to have a big conversation. You can just say, thank you, Bhagwanji, for living in my heart. Thank you, Bhagwanji, for all the good things you've given me in my life. Just say good night, Bhagwanji. And when you wake up in the morning and say good morning, Bhagwanji, stay with me all day and guide me. So remember to talk to Bhagwanji before you go to bed. Namaste, kids. And now you can say Namaste, Nani, because I am your Nani. So namaste, kids. Namaste, Nani. And I'll see you next week. Bye.